Well, hello and welcome to The Insider. I'm Lisa Adams, and this is our second week where The Insider will be seen really through the lens of the coronavirus pandemic. We're going to continue to look at what's going on in our community and how different organizations are handling the circumstances at this challenging time. My guest today is Maureen Barber Carey. Welcome. She is the Executive Vice President of the Barber National Institute, and we're really appreciating you joining us on what we call our Erie News Now stand-in. So thanks so much for being with us at this time. So let's begin with how you're doing.
Lisa, I will tell you, in my entire career, these have been the most challenging times. But I will also say that I am truly proud of how our staff have responded to this crisis. We have had staff offer to work additional hours in our group homes. We have staff who don't work in our group homes but have said, if you need help, we'll be there for you. As well as just staff across the board. Everyone wants to support our families in every way possible because they know how difficult it is for them at this time. And then probably I'm also so grateful to our community. You know, as we all go to the grocery store and we know we can only purchase 2 items of a given kind, we have more people living in our group homes. So what are we supposed to do? So a number of us started making calls to some of the local stores, Bellows, Wegmans, all the stores, and we said, since we need more than 2 items, would you consider helping us by allowing us to purchase in more bulk? And I will tell you, every single person we spoke with said, yes, we are here to do whatever we can to support the Barber Institute. So although these are the most challenging times ever, I think our community and our staff have just responded so positively. I'm very grateful that I'm living in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Well, you've started to open the door a little bit to how the Barber National Institute is coping. So let's talk about how you've had to respond during this crisis. You are, as an organization, considered essential, but your day programs had to be closed, and you are still opening. I was surprised to learn 95 different group homes throughout Pennsylvania that serve 324 adults, and they are now expected to be in those group homes 24/7. So how challenging is that for the staff, the support staff that's there with that population, and for that population themselves? Because many of these people are able to get out and work and be an active part of the community under normal circumstances.
Surely, so we are an essential service, so the Barber Institute is open. The programs that are larger programs, which have more than 10 people in it, of course, closed. Our school closed, per the governor's request over almost 2 weeks ago now, and our adult day services closed. All those adults, and you mentioned the adults who are in our group homes, are now in our group homes 24 hours a day. That is a challenge, both for our staff and for our individuals, because our individuals are used to being out and about. They do volunteer work in the community. Some of them are employed in the community. They have lots and lots of friends in the community that they see. And so now, unfortunately, they're staying home 24 hours. The problem, of course, is staff. We are always prepared to staff our individuals 24 hours on weekends, but not during the week because they're at their day program from 8:30 to 3:30. So now we're needing staff to do that coverage during the day. And I mentioned at the start how fantastic our staff have been, those direct support professionals who have said, sure, I'll work extra shifts, or, I've never worked in that house, but I'm happy to go and work in a house that's limited by staff. Also, of course, we want to be able to have our individuals continue learning and living and enjoying what they're doing, even though they're within the confines of the house. So our staff have been very, very creative in coming up with activities that continue the learning opportunities, but also activities that will be fun for the individuals. So even though that they're home, they will be enjoying what they're doing at their home.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, you did send along a couple of photographs of what goes on in these group home settings. So as you talk, and we can take a look at a few of those pictures, some activities going on there. So tell us about infection control in that setting as we look at these pictures, and how you're keeping your staff safe that are coming and going from the homes, and keeping the people living in the homes safe. And then talk about the behavioral health issues that may come up when routine is broken for this population and they're stuck at home like the rest of us.
Sure. Well, first of all, we're following the CDC procedures. I think we all know them by heart at this time. We're washing our hands whenever we're doing a new activity. And for some of our adults, we're still washing our hands, saying our ABCs, or we're washing our hands counting to 20 to make sure we have our hands super clean. And then in terms of general cleaning of our group homes, we're again following the CDC guidelines. Our staff are prepared, have been trained. Should an individual become ill, what do they do, and what do they need in terms of protective clothing, etc. So it has been an intense experience for our staff who are working in our homes, and they've stepped up to the challenge. I'm truly proud of them.
And on the behavioral health piece, they can get some counseling and support by phone?
Yes. Our behavioral health services continue to be open. We're not doing visiting in terms of going into individuals' homes, but we are doing the telephone counseling to not only to our own staff or to our individuals, but to our family members. It's really important for us to be that link to our family members. We do have a number of behavior support staff who are working in our homes as well. And so, we know we're interrupting the routine of our adults, and there has the potential for being behavior problems. So we have intensified our behavior support services to some of our homes so that we can help the staff meet the needs of our individuals.
All right, Maureen, we're going to take a little break here and come back and continue our conversation with Maureen Barber Carey. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about this time at home for families who have children with autism and intellectual disabilities. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Insider. I'm Lisa Adams. My guest today is Maureen Barber Carey, Executive Vice President of the Barber National Institute. And again, she is the first guest to join us on our Erie News Now stand-in for The Insider. So again, Maureen, thank you so much for being with us. So we're going to talk now about shifting from regular routines to home routines. And for families that normally depend on your school program, what are the challenges for families with children who have autism or who have intellectual disabilities and really need that routine?
Quite frankly, Lisa, the challenges are many. When the children come to school, they have a set routine. There's a teacher and there's paraeducators and speech therapists and physical therapists who are working with them all day long. And now it's the parent. So what I would suggest to the parents is try to establish your own routine. That routine would consist of your usual activities, everything from breakfast to doing chores around the house, this is what I would add in, some activities your child does at school that he could do at home. You will find on our website, COVID-19, the special page with COVID-19 material, resources for our parents of activities that your child does at school that you potentially could do at home with him or her that he will be familiar with. That's really a great idea. I think second,
How long does it take to establish a new routine? Because I know some moms of some toddlers who, you know, the children keep asking to see their grandparents or keep asking to see their friends. So for a child in this population with autism or intellectual disabilities, how long might it take that parent to make their routine to establish that, so that the child doesn't keep saying, why aren't we doing, you know, why aren't we going to school? Does it take days, weeks?
Again, a lot of this would depend upon the child's intellectual abilities. It could take one day, it could take a period of weeks in order to reestablish that routine. But I think that once you have that routine, you know, having it posted on the refrigerator door, somewhere that the child could see it, so that he can, you know, whether he's in a wheelchair or walking, he could go look at the schedule and then have that security that he knows what he's going to be doing, what he can expect all day long.
And this may mean including a child in some of the routine activities that the parent might do even when the child is at school. So that could mean cooking or bed making or some other activities?
Very definitely. I think it's a great opportunity to help your child learn some new skills in terms of taking care of the house, whether it's sweeping, whether it's loading the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher, whatever's within the capability level. Let's expose your child to those tasks, and he's now going to become your helper. And that's going to take some burden off the parent with everything that he or she must do while the child is at home for the child, let alone what they have to do to keep the house running.
So last question on this topic, I guess. I would assume that children with special needs, like all children, take a lot of the parents' energy and patience. So for parents who really depend on the Barber National Institute for a respite from their special needs child, how do they get a respite during this time, and how can they stay connected to you all as their support system when they feel like they're at their wits' end?
Well, two different ways I would think. One is our staff are keeping in touch with our families. I would say to any family, if you have some questions, some concerns, some problems, call us here. We're open, and we will put you in touch with the right person here at the Barber Institute. It may be your child's teacher, it may be your child's therapist, but they can talk to you and walk you through what you potentially could do. The other program we have at the Institute is our Agency with Choice program. This is a program for families who have a child with intellectual disabilities, and we provide staff who go into the home and help the parent. So this happens 12 months of the year, but it's so much more important right now when the parent is by him or herself and is trying to do everything but truly can't do everything. So we have over 900 staff actually who are going out to families' homes, helping them with their child or their adult, so that they do get that bit of a break and from the routine, and so they can regroup themselves, so they're going to be ready to take care of their son or daughter.
All right, you did mention those resources, and when we come back, we're going to talk about continuing education resources for anybody who has children at home right now. Stay with us. Well, welcome back to The Insider. Again, I am Lisa Adams, and we are talking with Maureen Barber-Carey, Executive Vice President of the Barber National Institute. She is with me in spirit here, but here on our stand-in. So we want to talk now about the fact that it's not just children from the Barber National Institute who are sequestered at home during this COVID-19 crisis. It's all students in our area. And so the things that you were talking about routine and about keeping education going are really critical for any child. So you did mention that your teachers have put together some resources to help with continuing education. We can take a look now at that on the website. You did say we enter by going to the Barber National Institute website and clicking on the COVID-19 portal there. So talk a little bit about how your teachers have put these things together and how these resources might help anyone with a child at home during this time.
I think it's a good point. They could help everyone and anyone at home. The resources are for children from 3 right up through 12th grade. And there are many, many, many applications in terms of iPad apps or whatever that individuals can use. Plus, there is quite a few web pages that I would encourage families to get on and to look at, because whether you're, I may be a teacher, but 9 out of the 10 people aren't a teacher. So they're not going to know what to do in terms of what are reading science activities that I should be considering. So please, this is a great resource for you. Also, each of the school districts has their own plan as to what your son or daughter should be doing at home. So I would go to their website and look at the information that is available. Some school districts are distributing Chromebooks, others are distributing packets, but there is material for families out there, whether their student is from the Barber National Institute or from a local school district.
Developmentally, you had one more thing to say, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to also say that I was fascinated with the virtual tours of museums. Every museum in the world has a virtual tour. And so, I was getting ready to go look at the Louvre, because I've never been there. I've wanted to go. And so for families, you can go visit the Smithsonian museums. There's just so many resources out there to access.
So as an educator, why is it important for any child to keep moving forward educationally? We know that's something that teachers always talk about over the summer months.
Sure, it's important for all children because we're all learning all the time, and we don't want to see your child sit at home playing games on his computer the entire time, because it's a great opportunity to practice the skills the child has been learning at school. It's really very, very important too for children with disabilities, because we know that they regress much more quickly than their typical peer. So that's why we're asking the parents to try to continue doing some of the activities that we're doing at school. So when the children come back in 2 or 3 weeks, we're just ready to go to provide that education.
Well, that's a perfect segue to our next section. When we come back in just a minute here, we're going to talk about returning to normal when that time comes. Stay with us. I'm Lisa Adams. Welcome back again to our COVID-19 focused insider with Maureen Barber-Carey, Executive Vice President of the Barber National Institute. We've been talking with her here on our stand-in. And so we do want to talk about how you are preparing to get back to normal when the time comes. We know that autism continues to be a growing situation across our nation. And we do know that you do a lot to try to help this population be their best, be the best selves that they can be, and really get educated and get out into the workplace. So tell us a little bit about the statistics for autism right now, and then we do have some photographs of some of the Barber National Institute clients, if you will, I guess, out in the workplace.
Sure. Well, currently, 1 in 59 children are being diagnosed with autism. What's very different from 10 years ago is that we're diagnosing the children earlier. We're diagnosing the child when he or she might be 2 years of age, 3 years of age, so that we can begin intensive services very, very early. So as the child ages into the public school system at age 5, he will have every opportunity to be able to move into regular education or some special education with supports. One area that we continue to work on very, very diligently is our young adult population with autism. These are the children that were born early 90s and who today are 21, 23, 24. They've graduated from high school and they need employment. So we're really looking at how can we work with our employers in our community to help them see that these young people with autism would be perfect employees, would be individuals who they could count on for the job, would be there every single day, and have a skill set that could be utilized in their area.
As we were speaking there, we saw someone who works at Bistro 26, someone in a golf course situation, someone in more of an industrial situation. So how much of a need do you have for employers in the Erie area who are willing to help put this population to work?
We have a huge need. We have many, many, many individuals who are interested in getting a job in the community. We are fortunate our community has stepped forth, and I would say in the last 5 years or so, we've placed over 500 individuals in jobs, but we always need more. So if an employer out there is listening today, and a few weeks when all this is over, you're interested in just discussing with us the possibility of employment, no commitment, just hearing more about what services we provide with job coaches and all those, please give us a call.
All right, Maureen, we only have 2 minutes left, so this is going to have to be quick, but we have a couple pictures of your robot. Tell us a little bit about how you're helping to advance this idea of a robot teaching kids with autism social skills.
Sure, we started this a few years ago with a collaboration with Notre Dame, and it continues. What we have found is that, and what we all know, is that children with autism really do seem very interested in technology. And what we did was introduce the robot into some small group instruction with our students. And what we found was that the children really gained skills faster than if they were with just a therapist. So we continue that collaboration with Notre Dame today, and we're taking the robot into classrooms, into social groups, where our children are learning social skills that are demonstrated by the robot.
All right, we're about to say goodbye, but just very quickly, again, I know it depends on the child's ability to understand, but what should parents do during this time to explain to their kids what's going on and be calm themselves?
Well, I'd like to start by saying be calm yourself. Your child is probably very, very anxious. Speak to your child in terms that he understands. What is this virus? Why are we staying home? And what can we do to prevent it?
All right, again, Maureen Barber Carey, thank you so much for being with us and sharing some really important information during this time. As always, thank you, our viewers, for joining us here on The Insider. And if you have an idea for us to explore during this COVID-19 crisis, please email me at ladams@wicu12.com and join us next time for The Insider.